I mean, well, I'll give you an example. It's probably best. A good example in America was the 8th largest Canadian company was a company called Sino-Forest. It was capitalized at several billion, and it was involved in forestry in China. The great hero who'd bet against subprime mortgages and made about $1 billion personally doing that was one of its largest shareholders, an American hedge fund manager named Paulson. The company was raising money at will from willing Wall Street participants and the Canadian banks lending it money whenever it wanted more. Yeah, no problem at all. Here it is. A little-known guy, now a very well-known guy, called Carsten Block, had a website called Muddy Waters, and he wrote a 80-page report. Nobody had heard of this guy, saying, hang on a minute, Sino-Forest is a massive fraud. Their assets don't exist. Nothing they say that is happening is happening. And that report brought down the company. 3 months later, it filed for bankruptcy. Paulson lost all his money. And had Muddy Waters not written that report, for all I know, the company might still be borrowing money and saying what a great business they were. So there is a cast-iron example of a short report on a company that was scrutinized by Wall Street's finest banks, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank. Everybody had highly paid analysts looking at this company because it was the 8th largest company in Canada. And this guy from a bedsit in New York writes a 40-page report, and the company is bankrupt 3 months later. Now that is the power of how a stock report can bring down a company. Is that a good thing? Yes, it is a good thing. Short traders don't bring down decent companies. If he'd been wrong about Sino-Forest, he would have been probably, not in prison, but he would have been sued for libel. He'd have lost a lot of money, and he would have been totally discredited. But he was right. Incredible. And that happens. I can't think of enough. That is probably in the last 10 years the biggest example I can think of, but there are other examples, some ongoing at the moment.